being Leprous and Rufus and Christina Summers are duly elected members of the Hollingdean and Stanmore.
Well, today was completely beyond any of our wildest imagination, really. I think we were really concerned about holding seats today, even though we had worked so hard to try and gain some seats, particularly in Labour wards. We've been looking at possibly having to negotiate with Labour, and even though it was looking very good last night at the verification, again this morning things seemed to swing the other way. So in Hollingdean and Stanmore we are of course very pleased to dislodge two very long-standing Labour candidates or councillors, but we are disappointed not to have gained all three, but there's plenty of time to do that, but we are very pleased indeed.
Which brings us now to the notices of motion. And the first one is equal marriage. Councillor Summers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just so everybody in this chamber is absolutely clear about this party's policy on this issue, it states that the Green Party deplores the ban on same-sex civil marriage and is committed to repealing it. I just want to make that, did you hear what I just said? Okay. I'm just clarifying this party's policy on this particular issue that says that the Green Party deplores the ban on same-sex civil marriage and is committed to repealing it. Now, having clarified that, I'm going to very quickly talk about my point of view, which no doubt will jar terribly with many of you in this chamber, and I'm very certain that colleagues will want to come back on this very passionately. But, you know, so be it. That's how democracy works. Let me just say very quickly what I don't have a big problem with, and that is same-sex couples in civil partnerships. It's their choice, it's no problem, and they're entitled to the same legal rights as married couples. I recently asked a colleague who's very experienced in the political field why same-sex couples who have all those legal rights available to them in a civil partnership insist, in the name of equality, on using the label of marriage, and she responded with the question, why not? What a reply. So here's why not. Here's why I have a problem when we venture into the territory of marriage, and I know the time is ticking. The way that this government has gone about this is unacceptable. Neither the Conservative or Lib Dem manifestos mention that they would do this, and so people have not had a chance to vote on this. The current public consultation is not to do with whether the public want to redefine marriage, but it's to do with how the government are going to go about enforcing it. It's denied 24 million married people the chance to say whether they would accept that or not. I think that's terribly undemocratic. And the legal implications are a nightmare. We are trying to unravel 800 years of legislation which would have to be rewritten. There are over 3,000 times in the law that marriage is mentioned, and associated words like wife, mother, father, that would have to be taken out. Lots of other reasons. I'm worried about schools and I'm worried about churches. I don't believe they will be protected. I think that the law will not protect them. And the main reason why I absolutely do not agree with this is because when you touch marriage, you're touching family and you're hitting at the very heart of God. And I have an enormous problem with that. So woe betide Brighton and woe betide the UK if it becomes law. I shall be voting against this motion, amended or otherwise.
Welcome to South East Today. I'm Polly Evans.
And I'm John Young. Tonight's top stories. The Sussex councillor facing disciplinary action because she's spoken out against gay marriage. We're live in Hove with the details. Good evening. A devout Christian in Sussex faces disciplinary action by the Green Party after she voted against gay marriage. Christina Summers was the only member of Brighton Hove City Council who voted against a motion in support of government plans to allow homosexual couples to marry.
Ms Summers has now been accused of bringing her party into disrepute, despite supporting gay rights and civil ceremonies. But she says she has every right to her beliefs against gay marriage. Sarah Smith reports.
This is the council meeting where Christina Summers took a stand against gay marriage, which has infuriated members of her own party.
Because when you touch marriage, you're touching family and you're hitting at the very heart of God, and I have an enormous problem with that.
On the same night, her party leader, the leader of the council, said this.
Well, I respect every member's right to freedom of expression in this chamber, but we're also all free to disagree.
But since voting against the motion, it has been made clear to Christina Summers that disagreeing has not gone down well with her party. An investigation is underway into her conduct. She says she supports same-sex relationships and civil partnerships, but that the gay and lesbian lobby should not be able to pressurise politicians into voting against their own beliefs.
It is a very strong minority grouping, but they have a very loud voice. And I think we have allowed ourselves, as the, if you like, the wider church here, to be intimidated by that, which is a real shame. And I think we need to, put those fears aside and, dare to speak the truth.
The Christian Legal Centre, which supports Councillor Summers, says Christians could end up being excluded from public office altogether if not allowed to follow their faith.
We think it's an extraordinary state of affairs that she should face exclusion from her party merely for expressing what is a legal belief. Marriage is still between a man and a woman, lawfully in this country. That's how it is defined.
It's far from the first time that bringing Christianity into public life has caused issues. Dr. Richard Scott was given a formal warning from the General Medical Council for suggesting a patient at his Margate clinic should turn towards Jesus. And the issue of gay marriage caused tensions to boil over in Thanet when it was raised there, with several councillors leaving their parties. Christina Summers will have to wait to see if she's still welcome in hers.
That was Sarah Smith reporting. She joins us from outside Brighton and Hove council offices now. Sarah, do we have any idea what's going to happen to Councillor Summers now?
Well, the Green Group met last night without Councillor Summers. It says that it could take them some weeks to decide, and while she won't be expelled, she could lose the whip, which means she'll be excluded from the Green Party within the council. They say the problem is you sign up to the Green Party, you sign up to the equality agenda. Now, Councillor Summers says that she's received emails accusing her of being homophobic, even accusing her of being a fascist, and she says you can believe in equality without agreeing with same-sex marriage.
Thanks, Sarah.
Good afternoon. A Christian on Brighton and Hove City Council who stands to be expelled from the Green Party group after speaking out against same-sex marriage says she stands by her beliefs. In July, Christina Summers told the council that she had an enormous problem with same-sex marriage but supported civil partnerships. In August, a panel was formed to look into Councillor Summers' remarks. And last night, the panel suggested that she should be expelled. Well, Councillor Christina Summers joins us now from Brighton. And Councillor Summers, do you feel that that action would be justified?
Well, I think the action was inevitable, but no, I don't think it is justified.
But the Green Party say that when you stood as a candidate and people voted for you, you were representing their policies and their values. Now you're in breach of your undertaking as a candidate, which is a fair point, surely.
Well, I disagree with that. I most definitely did represent Green policy, and of course we're talking about their equality policy. I signed up to it and I totally agree with equality.
But Green Council leader Jason Kitcat has sent through some information saying that equal marriage has been a long-held policy of the party, and it's something that the Green Party's been championing when other main parties were just thinking about civil partnerships. So clearly the belief was there from the beginning when you became a member of the Green Party.
Well, that may be the case at national level, but I stood as a local councillor here in Brighton on the Green Manifesto, and there is nothing whatsoever in the Green Manifesto about marriage. And when I signed that equality statement, it was not specifically equality to do with marriage at all. It was a general principle of equality.
If you are expelled from the party, what will you do come the next election?
Well, I don't want to anticipate so far in advance. It's already taken a long time to get to this point, but if I am expelled, then I automatically become an independent councillor by default anyway.
So do you feel it's right then for politicians to allow their religious beliefs to override party policy?
Well, I don't think it is.
Terribly sorry, we seem to have lost Councillor Summers there.
Christian Brighton and Hove councillor is consulting lawyers about a human rights claim after losing an appeal against expulsion from the authorities' ruling Green Group. Christina Summers says she was banned after voting against a proposal to lift the ban on same-sex marriage.
Well, the local Green Party say while they defend the right to free speech, her stance broke their election pledge. Our reporter, Mark Sanders, joins us from Brighton now. And, Mark, she was expelled in September after an internal inquiry.
Yes, that's right. And also Christina Summers was only elected as a councillor last year. As you say, she was expelled in September. She appealed that decision, and now that appeal has failed. However, she's not going to let the matter drop. She's determined to fight on.
Councillor Christina Summers is out in the cold politically. Expelled from the Green Group in Brighton, she's now considering legal action against the party.
Very sadly, I feel like we've gone over the last hurdle there, and so I have no choice, I don't think, but to move it up to another level, because this is such a serious issue, and I really don't think that the Greens have quite got hold of that.
It was in July that Christina Summers spoke against gay marriage at a council meeting, but she supported civil partnerships. In August, a panel of inquiry was formed by the Green Party to look into the matter. And in September, she was expelled from the Green Group on Brighton and Hove City Council.
I sat in meetings in which the Green Group of councillors were deciding whether she should stay or leave. There was a lot of heartbreaking anguish over the issue, and a lot of people felt very, very strongly about the issue on many sides, and gave it their utmost thought and consideration. It wasn't a quick or easy process by any means.
The Green Party says Christina Summers wasn't expelled because of her views on same-sex marriage, but because of a whole series of incidents, and because she breached an undertaking that in office she would uphold the party's values of equality. But she claims she was sidelined because of her religious views.
Christians are being sidelined, and that's a very serious issue, I think, when we look at, our country that is one of freedom, and we seem to be undermining that.
One gay rights campaigner says Councillor Summers went against a promise to her voters that she would support same-sex marriage, as that is Green Party policy. One Christian group believes an important issue is at stake.
It is a freedom of speech issue, and we do need to be rigorous about freedom of speech. And what we need to remember about Christine is she's been incredibly gracious and patient throughout this entire process. At no point has she been homophobic or aggressive or anything.
The Green Party believes the matter is now at an end. Councillor Summers doesn't see it that way.
So there is the real possibility this matter could end up before the courts if she decides to pursue legal action against the Greens. One curious aspect of this story, though, while she's no longer a Green councillor, she remains a Green Party member.
OK, Mark, thank you very much.